Imagine a place scattered across the vast blue canvas of the Pacific Ocean, a world where the horizon seems endless and the sky melts into the sea. These islands form a string of pearls so remote they seem almost a dream, untouched, mysterious, and breathtakingly beautiful. This is Kiribati, 33 coral atolls and reef islands scattered across an expanse of water larger than India, stretching across both sides of the equator. The air is thick with salt and the scent of tropical flowers. Sunlight dances on turquoise lagoons, while beneath the surface, vibrant coral gardens teem with life, home to countless species found nowhere else on Earth. The islands themselves are slivers of sand and coral, barely rising above the waves, shaped by millennia of ocean tides and the relentless push and pull of the sea. Coconut palms lean toward the water, their fronds swaying in the breeze. Beaches stretch for miles, untouched and pristine, while life here moves to the gentle, timeless rhythm of the tides. It's a place of profound tranquility, a sanctuary far from the noise and rush of the modern world, where time seems to slow and every sunrise feels like a gift. Yet this paradise is fragile, its very existence threatened by the rising sea, as climate change brings new dangers to these ancient shores. Most of the land sits less than 2 meters above sea level, making Kiribati exquisitely vulnerable to even the smallest changes in the ocean's height. Here, rising waters are not a distant threat. They are a daily reality, shaping the lives and futures of everyone who calls these islands home. The waves that shape this nation now threaten to erase it, along with a unique culture, language, and way of life that has endured for generations. Kiribati is a story of breathtaking beauty and heartbreaking precarity, a testament to resilience, hope, and the enduring spirit of its people in the face of unprecedented challenge. To understand Kiribati is to witness one of the most urgent stories of our time, a story that calls on us all to listen, to care, and to act. Arriving in Kiribati, you step into a world where the pace slows and the air feels different, thick with the scent of the ocean and the promise of discovery. The warmth of the people is immediate, their smiles genuine, and their greetings heartfelt, making you feel at home from the very first moment. There are no skyscrapers here, just endless open skies, the shade of breadfruit trees, and dazzling coral sand that stretches along the coast, untouched by crowds. The Kiribati greets you with mori, a word that means life, accompanied by a smile and a sense of genuine hospitality that is woven into daily life. Visitors are welcomed as honored guests, invited to share meals and stories on woven mats beneath the open sky, where laughter and conversation flow as easily as the ocean breeze. Exploring the islands, you find deserted beaches, crystal clear waters, and coral reefs alive with color and teeming with life, inviting you to dive in and discover their secrets. Nature dominates here, offering a rare chance to reconnect with the essentials of life, to slow down and appreciate the beauty and simplicity and the rhythm of the tides. But even in this island paradise, the signs of struggle are clear. Sea walls line the coast, high water marks creep ever closer to homes and trees, a silent warning of what's to come. Fishermen speak of changing seas, of tides and currents that no longer follow the patterns of their ancestors, and of a future that feels uncertain. The beauty of Kiribati is inseparable from its vulnerability, each breathtaking view shadowed by the knowledge that it may not last forever. A visit here is both a glimpse of paradise and a first-hand look at the front line of a global crisis, where the impacts of climate change are felt every day. Here, every day is a reminder of what's at stake, not just for Kiribati, but for us all. Kiribati's culture is a tapestry of ancient tradition, deep respect for nature, and strong community bonds. Life centers around the maniaba, the traditional meeting house where decisions are made and stories are shared. The Kiribati are expert navigators and fishermen, surviving through resourcefulness and a profound knowledge of land and sea. They cultivate what the atolls allow: taro, breadfruit, pandanus, and coconut, making the most of every resource. Song and dance, inspired by the flight of the frigate bird, keep tradition alive and connect generations. This culture is rooted in place. Ancestral lands are identity, not just property. The thought of leaving is almost unthinkable. Kiribati's culture cannot simply be moved. Now these traditions and connections are under threat as the islands themselves are at risk. The fate of the Kiribati is tied to the fate of their land and sea. Their resilience is tested daily, but their spirit endures. For Kiribati, climate change is a relentless reality, not a distant warning. Here, the effects are felt every day, woven into the fabric of daily life and shaping the future of an entire nation. Rising sea levels, accelerated in this part of the Pacific, threaten to erase these low-lying atolls. The ocean creeps closer each year, swallowing precious land and leaving less space for families to live and grow. King tides, once rare, now regularly flood homes, roads and community spaces, turning dry land into temporary lagoons. These floods disrupt daily routines, damage property, and force people to adapt in ways their ancestors never imagined. Families evacuate, children wade through salt water to school, and floods grow more frequent and severe. Each storm brings new uncertainty, and the community must constantly rebuild and recover. Coastal erosion strips away beaches, leaving homes and cultural sites teetering on the brink. The land that once protected generations is now vanishing, exposing the heart of Kiribati to the sea. Ancestral graveyards are washed away, severing links to the past. The loss is not just physical but deeply emotional, as families watch their heritage disappear beneath the waves. The landmass visibly shrinks, a slow-motion disappearance before the eyes of its people. Every year, the boundaries of home are redrawn by the relentless tide. The psychological toll is immense, living with the anxiety that your home and nation could vanish. The fear of losing everything is a constant shadow over daily life. The ocean, once a source of life, is now a source of fear. Its power, once respected, is now unpredictable and threatening. This is the daily burden for the people of Kiribati. Every decision, every tradition, is shaped by the looming threat of climate change. Their struggle is a warning to the world. What happens here could soon happen elsewhere if action is not taken. The fight is not just for land, but for identity and survival. In the face of rising tides, the people of Kiribati stand united, determined to protect their home and their way of life. Beneath the surface, another crisis unfolds: freshwater contamination. With no rivers or lakes, Kiribati relies on rain and a thin lens of groundwater floating atop saltwater. Rising seas push saltwater inland, poisoning wells and making water brackish and undrinkable. Droughts worsen the scarcity, forcing families to depend on rainwater that often runs dangerously low. Saltwater intrusion also devastates crops. Breadfruit, bananas and taro wither as their roots burn. Gardens turn barren, increasing reliance on expensive imported food and straining families. This quiet catastrophe strikes at the heart of survival, water and food security. As one activist says, "Our waters have been infected. They now can't survive with the water that changed after sea level rise." When water is tainted, the foundation of existence crumbles. The fight is for the very resources that sustain life. Land loss in Kiribati is sudden and devastating, with each storm and king tide carving away more of the nation. Entire villages retreat inland, some with nowhere left to go. Tebunginako, once a thriving village, now stands as a ghost beach, homes and a church partially submerged. Overcrowding strains South Tarawa, one of the world's most densely populated places. Housing, schools and healthcare are stretched to the limit. Losing ancestral land means losing identity and spiritual home. Infrastructure is under siege. Causeways are overtopped. The airport is at risk, and essential buildings face constant flooding. Repairs drain resources needed elsewhere. The government has even purchased land in Fiji as a last resort refuge, a plan for migration with dignity. It's a pragmatic but heartbreaking admission of the crisis's scale. Kiribati fights to avoid a future without its homeland. To understand Kiribati, listen to its people. Their stories are testaments to resilience and love for their homeland. Many reject the label of climate refugees, insisting, "We're still fighting, we're not drowning." A fisherman adapts, teaching his children to read the ocean as reefs change. A mother endures sleepless nights during king tides, but finds strength in her community's solidarity. These stories turn abstract data into lived reality. The Kiribati are deeply connected to their land and determined to protect it. Young activists speak out globally, demanding climate justice and action from developed nations. They seek not pity, but responsibility and support. Their voices are a powerful call to recognize the human face of climate change. Kiribati is not waiting for rescue. It's fighting for survival with determination and innovation. Communities build seawalls, plant mangroves, and install rainwater systems to protect against erosion and saltwater. These grassroots solutions empower people to defend their homes. The government pursues bold plans, raising island elevations and seeking international funding for land reclamation. Kiribati's leaders advocate on the world stage, demanding aggressive action to cut emissions and support vulnerable nations. Their fight is for climate justice, not just for themselves, but for all frontline communities. The challenge is immense, but the will to endure is powerful. Kiribati's struggle is a beacon for global action. Their future depends on the world's response. Visiting Kiribati is an act of witness, a journey to a place of beauty and urgency. Responsible tourism supports local families and sends a message of solidarity. Your presence helps communities adapt and remain on their land. Listening to stories and seeing daily challenges firsthand transforms you into an ambassador for Kiribati. Personal testimony raises awareness and builds political will for climate action. Kiribati's fate is a warning for all coastal communities, a canary in the coal mine for our planet. Supporting Kiribati is an investment in our shared future. We must amplify their voices and demand bold action from our leaders. The tide is rising, but there is still time to act. Let's ensure this paradise and others like it are not lost to the waves. The story of Kiribati is a call to protect what we cannot replace. The world is watching. Will we answer?